Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister for ACC. Does he believe that the government's recent decision to introduce competition into the ACC work account will result in cost savings for employers? If so, why?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Yes, and that is the official advice from the Department of Labour. To quote the advice directly, quote, "Over time, overall prices are expected to be lower in a competitive environment due to incentives on employers to improve workplace safety, thereby reducing the incidence and the severity of injuries, and the incentives on both private insurers and ACC for efficient management of claims involving rehabilitation outcomes and reducing costs." That's the official advice of the Department of Labour.
Chris Hipkins.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, why does he believe that New Zealand employers will pay less for accident cover if competition is introduced? Given in Australia, where a competitive model exists, employers pay on average twice what New Zealand employers pay.
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure where the member gets those figures from. I suspect it's the PwC report that was commissioned by Labour in 2008. And there was a fundamental problem there. ACC made a loss that year of $2.4 billion. And to not include that in the analysis. There's a second difficulty with the member's comparison with Australia, and that is that motor vehicle account accidents in Australia that occur when a person is working is included as a workplace accident in Australia. In New Zealand, that is not included. It's included in the motor vehicle account, and given the number of people that are injured and killed on the road, that does make a substantive difference in the comparison.
Chris Hipkins.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Minister name any other country in the world that provides cover for work-related accidents as cheaply and at an equivalent level as ACC does in New Zealand? If so, can he name one?
The Honourable Dr. Nick
Speaker,
Smith.
each jurisdiction is quite different, but the Stocktake report that was led by the Honourable David Cagle noted that the most common model internationally was for both state and private insurer provision alongside each other. That is the option that the government is going through. Members interject that it will cost more. What I think they underestimate is that when employers have a choice of ACC or a private insurer, if the members opposite are correct, why would an employer change?
Question.
Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, will he guarantee that the government won't prevent ACC from competing in the work account in the future? If not, why not?
The Honourable Dr.
Speaker,
Nick
the
Smith.
government's made its position quite clear, both in the announcement last December and in the release of the discussion paper, that our policy intent is for private insurers to operate alongside ACC. We believe that will improve the performance of ACC, and given the mess that we inherited from Labour around humongous losses, we should be focused as a parliament on ensuring ongoing pressure for ACC to perform well.
Supplementary question, Dr. Jackie Blue.
To the Minister. How many workplace fatalities were there in 1999 and 2000 when there was competition, and how did this compare with deaths in the years before and after?
The Honourable
Speaker,
Dr. Nick Smith.
There were 52, well, members opposite should listen to this because it's important. There were 52 workplace fatalities in 1999 and 2000, the lowest of any period on record. The average in the years preceding the introduction was 73 per year, and in the subsequent 8 years that Labour was in government, the average was 86 fatalities per year.
Question number 12, the Honourable Sir Roger Douglas.